Hey, what's up, guys? Coming to you with another What's Next. This is on Mairis, Breidis, and Yunier Dorticos. Mairis Breidis, the newly crowned IBF Cruiserweight Champion, and Dorticos, the former two-time Cruiserweight Champion. They fought in the finals of the World Boxing Super Series and for the IBF Cruiserweight title on Saturday, September 26th. It was a huge fight. They were the top two seeds, and after 15 months out, they fought each other. Breidis, impressive ass performance. I did not think after the way he fought in the quarterfinals, actually his last three fights, he did not look like the same old Breidis. And in this fight, he came out and he boxed very well, counterpunched, stick and move was the key to the game, landed some good shots, and got a clean 12-round unanimous decision over the heavy-handed Yunier Dorticos. So the big question now is what's next for the IBF Cruiserweight Champion, Mairis Breidis. We'll do him first. So with Breidis, I know he said he's considering a couple things I've heard so far. He said he would consider a rematch with Krzysztof Glowacki, who's fighting for the vacant WBO Cruiserweight title in December. They had a controversial ending to the semifinals of the World Boxing Super Series where Breidis ended up scoring a third-round knockout, but it was a lot of controversy, fouls. Breidis did a back elbow to the back of the head of Glowacki, and it led to referee mistakes and just a lot of fouls there, a lot of controversy. He said he'd be into fighting in a rematch, which would be a unification bout if Glowacki regains the WBO Cruiserweight title. So, that is one option that has been talked about. Another option that's being talked about is him possibly moving to heavyweight. So let's jump into that one first. Heavyweight for Mairis Breidis, I think, is a mistake. I know he has a win over, I think it's not Mairis Walk, it's the other guy. I forget his name. He captured Miguel or something. I don't know. Manuel Char. He beat Manuel Char by a knockout a few years ago before he became prominent at Cruiserweight. That actually led him to his Cruiserweight takeover, where he became a world champion multiple times. But, I think he's a smaller Cruiserweight. And Char, whatever, I don't think he's very good heavyweight. But anyway, I think it's a mistake for Breidis because he's not a big fighter, and he would be a small heavyweight, and he's not a big puncher. So I really think he should stay at Cruiserweight. Cruiserweight is a pro-dominant European division and always has been. Breidis is from Latvia. He's coming off the World Boxing Super Series win. He's the only guy to really give Alexander Usyk any kind of trouble when they fought in the Super Series semifinals. That's the only loss of his career. I think he takes over Cruiserweight. Possibly if Usyk goes on to win a heavyweight title, maybe he puts in for a rematch against Usyk. I think that would make sense. Then he can move up to heavyweight. So I think I think that's a mistake to move to heavyweight. Doesn't mean that he won't, though. But I think for Breidis, I think that would be a mistake. Now, options at Cruiserweight, I really think, a rematch with Dorticos, who's number 2, is out. I think Ilunga Makabu, he's got mandatories due, back-to-back mandatories. I don't see him going after unification against the WBC champ. Then it comes down to Glowacki. If Glowacki can beat Lawrence Okoli on the Anthony Joshua undercard against, Kubrat Pulev, that's supposed to be the co-feature right there, or one of them on the undercard, is Glowacki against Okoli. If Glowacki captures the WBO title for a third time, Breidis is a 3-time Cruiserweight champ now, I think it makes a ton of sense for these two guys to go at it. I think Breidis will go in as the favorite, and I think that's the fight he should probably go after if Glowacki beats Okoli. Now, if Okoli wins, depending on how he beats Glowacki, not a big-time name, he's undefeated, and he's very tall, might be a bad matchup for Breidis. So that's something he might want to look at. Anybody else, really would be a reach right now for Breidis. So I think he really needs to hope that Glowacki wins, or he needs to look at Kevin Lerena. He's at the back of the top 10. He's the highest-rated contender in the IBF. The IBF currently doesn't have their mandatory number 1 contender set. The top 2 spots are gone. If they set up an IBF final eliminator between Lerena and somebody else, maybe Lerena and Breidis would be possible. Lerena is from South Africa. He's a fast-rising prospect. A lot of people want to see him get in line for a title shot. Maybe him and Breidis. He already said he thinks he can beat Breidis. Why not him and Breidis next? So we'll see. So in reality, I think heavyweight is a possibility for Breidis. I would favor against it, though, that he shouldn't do it, but you never know. I think his most real possibility is probably, there's two of them, but I think Glowacki would be it if he beats Okoli and captures the WBO title. It makes a ton of sense to rematch, unification bout, and that would be a big fight for Breidis next. And then after that is a possible mandatory title defense against Kevin Lerena. I think that one makes sense. So we'll see what happens. That's the what's next on Mairis Breidis. Now let's shoot over to Yunier Dorticos. We're doing him in the same video. He's coming off that loss in the finals of the World Boxing Super Series to Breidis. He got outboxed, he got worked, and lost a convincing decision. Now, nothing to hang his head about. He had a very good 2 tournaments now. Made it to the semifinals, made it to the finals at Cruiserweight. Given that we don't know if the World Boxing Super Series is coming back, I don't think they would do a 3rd straight season with the Cruiserweights, so say they don't. I think Breidis is big enough and strong enough with his punch to move up to heavyweight, and I think that's what he should do. For me, I think Dorticos is going to be a boogeyman at Cruiserweight. Why? He has no world title. Yes, he's a former 2-time champion, but he's fucking so powerful. Who's going to want to fight him? Who's going to be voluntarily willing to fight him? You know, that would make sense for him. That would be appealing. Unless he gets to some kind of final eliminator, I think, you know, he might be asked out. He might be asked out, and I think if that's the case, he's got the power, he's got the size, why not move to heavyweight? That's my opinion. I think Dorticos should put on 15, 20 pounds, go to about 220, move up to heavyweight. He's fucking strong, and I think right now that would make a lot of sense for him. He can box well enough, and he packs a serious punch. So for me, that's the best option for Yunier Dorticos. I really don't see a rematch with Breidis. It wouldn't make sense. Breidis cleanly worked him. He's not going to get Makabu. Makabu has mandatories due. The winner, Glowacki, Okoli, I doubt they'd be interested in Dorticos. Anybody else other than that, I mean, Arsen Goulamirian might be the only guy that makes sense because he has a WBA super title, but I don't know if Goulamirian wants anything to do with Dorticos, and Goulamirian's not a big name. It'd be a shot at a world title, but he's not a big name. So I think for Dorticos, I think he's going up to heavyweight. That's just my opinion. So that's it, though, guys. That's the what's next on Mairis Breidis, the World Boxing Super Series Season 2 champion, tournament winner, and the newly crowned IBF Cruiserweight Champ, and former 2-time Cruiserweight champion, Yunier Dorticos. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. True Boxing, you've been hit with the truth.